Welcome back again, students. We are looking today at how to make a box that will not have to be glued together. And looking at this one here, you can kind of see the general idea. These side pieces are going to be passing through a hole that's in these other side pieces. And then to stop them from sliding out again, there's a little pin that we're going to slide in that will wedge. You can see there's a little bit of an angle on that. So as you push it in, it kind of wedges in and gets stuck. And if you just kind of push that in with your finger, that will not allow it to fall out, and it'll stay in there. So no glue will be necessary. And this bottom piece will not be able to fall out because, as you can see, these tabs are holding that together or stopping it from falling downwards. And those walls, again, aren't falling out because of those pins. So those 4 pins are going to hold the whole thing together. And obviously, with this project, you're welcome to change this and make this whatever size you want within reason. If you're thinking really big, we're going to have to talk about that. And you can make all sorts of the pins can be different designs and all that stuff. And then once you got that basic design, you could add a hinge on it, like in the other videos, like this one here. Or if you want a solid lift-out lid like this one here, that could work also. But let's see what we can do about the demo. What's going on here on this page? What we can do about getting started here. My page needed a little refreshing there, I think. And so I have this original one. I'm going to delete a whole bunch of stuff here. So we'll start fresh. So you've done a box in the past if you are doing this project. So we're setting several variables here. So I have these, go set these variables. You should know how to do that already by this point, but I have one for length, width, and height. This makes it easy to change those if you want later, and then also the thickness of the wood. So, and I put those in a little folder so I don't have to look at them there. And so let's look at this first sketch here. Since you guys are getting pretty advanced at this and you've done several boxes along the way here, what you are, I'm going to show you a couple other things here where we can actually start doing some better calculations to make things a little bit more even looking. So this one I have set as the width of the box right now. This length here, it's 2 by 2, but that one's the width there. And I have, we can think of this like 4 little rectangles here, right? Excuse me, 5 little rectangles here. The length is 5 tabs, we'll call them, right? So if we want 5 tabs, and you can draw those out first, then when I want to put a dimension on there, like this one, I'm just going to say width divided by 5, and then that comes out to be the perfect size, which in this case is going to end up being 0.4. And if I was to go back and change the width, for example, let's do that real fast because this is a cool thing here. Like I wanted to actually be 3. Now that is equal length here now again, and those tabs are going to be just the right size. So I will leave it at 3 for this design here. And then the same thing here. We'll pull those out so we can see those a little bit better. This was the length divided by 3 because we had 3. You can think of it like 3 tabs here: 1 space, 2 space, and 3 spaces there. So just a cool little thing here. When you're designing your base piece, this is the bottom part of the box there. Try doing that. And now we're going to jump into doing the side pieces. So the side piece we're going to do first is going to be this one. This one is going to be wider than the other pieces so that we have space for that hole to pass through. So, oops, let's jump back over here real fast, and we're going to say new sketch on that little side surface right there. And we're going to use those 2 spots right there, and we're going to use and get that center point also. And now I'm going to use a center point rectangle coming straight up from that point and just make it nice and big. It's bigger than it needs to be right now. But this should be the, what is that? Depends what side you selected, but this might need to be the width of the, is it width that we're doing? 3 inches is the width for this one, right? All right, and then that will be the height here. And you'll notice that's not in the right location here. And we also said a moment ago that we wanted this piece to be wider than the actual piece here. So we're going to actually say this is going to be the, we're going to change this now. This is actually going to be width plus, come on, over there, width plus 2 times the thickness of the wood, because we want to add a little bit to both sides. And you can see that adds the thickness, 1 thickness over there and 1 thickness over there. So that this now is the correct size there. All right. Again, I'll show you that equation there on the screen. That's width plus thickness. And by the way, every time you use a variable after, you have to select it there or push the enter button. All right, and I know I'm talking fast, so hopefully you are pausing the video as you go here. This would be a good time to do so. I'm also going to dimension this measurement here to be, again, the thickness of the wood. So we have it hanging out a little bit off the bottom, but not too far, so that we have some space for these holes to be here. And now I'm going to make a nice center line here so that we can do some mirroring eventually. And I'm going to do a nice center line going vertically as well, turning those both into construction lines. And now, you know what might be nice also if we use this corner point here so I can line up off of that. So if I push use and then get that corner point, now I can come up here and draw a nice line there, and I can mirror that line. And what I'm doing, oops, that was not what I wanted to do. I can start designing a hole here that the other piece is going to slide through here. And this right here, that measurement should be the same as this measurement. So I don't have to put a dimension on that. I can just say, force those two to be equal there. Now they're the same size. That's looking pretty good. And then this measurement here, this is the height, right? And I could do the height, pushing enter after that, divided by 3, so that that now has an equal space above and below. So we're dividing that equally there. And now I can do a mirror to get that on the other side. And let's try that again. That didn't work for me for some reason. There it is on the other side. All right. And let's turn that other piece off here. And now we can see that's what we're going to get here. That's what we're looking for. Let's go ahead and extrude that now. And so we got the holes for the bottom of the box there. And we got the holes on the 2 sides for the other wall pieces to slide through. And let's turn that back on so we can have a look at that. And look at that. It's going here. We're going to get the thickness is there. I'm going to flip the direction around. That's looking pretty good. All right. And now let's go ahead and make a copy of this and put it on the other side. So you've done that in the past. If you'd like to do it the old way that you've done in the past, you're welcome to do that. I'm going to show you a new method here that might be a fun way to try this out. So I'm going to do transform by mate connector here. So that was the transform button. And this is what I want to transform, and I want to make a copy of it. And basically, I'm going to select 2 points. A starting location. Let's click the center of that front piece there. And I want to copy it from that location. And essentially, we're thinking of it like rotating it around there. And it's going to be on that location. And you can see it's not in the right spot right now. But we have these options here. We can play around and see if we can get it in the right spot there. This is a kind of tricky method. If your brain does not understand that, feel free to do the old way that we've done in the past of doing the linear pattern. If this method is a little tricky for you. So go do that now. We'll say, okay, now we got the 2 pieces there. Great time to pause the video right now. And now we are going to make the next piece that's going to fit in here, the other wall piece. So we're going to go to Sketch again, selecting the surface, and we're going to want to, I'm going to say use that surface, and I'm going to need that little corner right there. That's going to be nice to have, and that little corner is going to be nice to have. I'm definitely going to need some inside surface of these because it's going to have to go up there. I'm going to need this top point here also. That and that. And now we got a nice piece here. So before I hide everything, so this is going to be a little easier to see, let's go ahead and draw one side here. We want this to come out like so, so we have enough space to slide that pin into. And we'll make a nice little thing there. And we're going to, let's see, we'll dimension this in just a moment here. Let's hide everything here, so we're going to be a little easier to see. And let's go fill in and draw all the other lines we'll need to go on across the bottom there. Excuse me, that's not going to go across the bottom there. That's going to go, we're going to need this line here. Here, and one line across the top. And I'm going to reflect this in a second, so a nice center line would be nice. And this, all right. And I'm going to get a nice center line going horizontally also. That would be a nice thing to have here. You'll see in just a moment. All right. So this and this are not going to be part of my design, so I'm going to hide those for a second, making construction lines. All right, so I know I did a lot just there, so go ahead and fill in the gaps there. You can kind of see what's going on there. And if you make a mistake and you extrude and it doesn't look right, we can always go back and change it. Don't worry if it messes up here. This takes a little bit of playing around to get this. And so now I'm going to make a little piece here that is going to be the hole for the pin. I'm going to mirror image those so we get everything nice and symmetrical here. And we're going to say dimension this. That should be the thickness. And we'll dimension this way also. So we want this to be a square. You could try and do some equal stuff here, but this works also. All right, so we got a nice square there, and that's gonna line up there. And just so this is a little less confusing, let's trim off the pieces that we don't want here. So we don't need these. Looks like there's a couple extra hidden lines there. There's several lines stacked on top of each other there, so you might have to click more than once. And let's trim that out just so we can have this, our brains wrap around this a little bit better. You have a couple copies of that. All right. And now let's do some mirroring. We want this to reflect to the other side. So I want those, and I want this, and I want this. And look at this. We got a piece now, and that's looking like the shape we want. And if you're not sure, let's try extruding it, and we'll see if it works out for us. We'll say this is the thickness. Remember, you can always go back and fix this up if you are having a hard time with this. And look at that. It's fitting right where we want. All right. Look at that. It's right in that little hole there. And you officially have a box here. And you can do another copy and get it on the other side. I'll let you do that. But I'm going to show you real fast, just so this video doesn't go too long here, of how you can make the pin. Again, we're going to do the pin right on that little inside surface there. And let's push that use button there, and we'll hide everything so it's a little easier to look at. All right. And with this pin, we want it to probably hang out a little bit on this other side. Again, you can make this the front side either flush there or not. It doesn't really matter. But the important part is on this back side, we have a little bit of an angle to it here. Too steep, it won't really push in very well. Too small, it won't work very well either. This side needs to be flat because it needs to fit up against the side of the box there. And feel free to like put a little decoration on there if you want. Anything you like there is fine. And you could even round off those corners if you like with the fillet tool. We'll talk more about that in a second. But once you get something that you think is pretty cool looking, we can extrude this, and we are officially. It looks like we may have that once. And look at that. We got a nice piece there, and just double checking that it's going the right way. Yeah, looks pretty good. All right. My goodness. All right. So we got the first piece there, the first pin. And just so you know, if you want, you could make all the pins different. That would be up to you. If you want to actually put all the pins in there, what I would suggest doing is finishing this other side here first. Well, actually, we can do that in just a second here. But we're going to actually do some mirroring here. Another fun thing to show you here. We're going to make a new plane here. And again, this could be another way you want to make that other side there. And a new plane is like a new surface. And I'm going to click the a mid-plane would work too. So let's do a mid-plane. Mid-plane means click on two surfaces, like this gray surface here and this gray surface here. And look at that, it gives you a little surface right in the center there. And we're going to say okay. And then we're going to repeat that again, doing a mid-plane. You can click on this surface and this surface. Any surfaces will work here. I'm just showing you a couple different options there, and you get a nice plane there in the center. And we can actually do a mirror of 3D parts here. So we're going to say mirror, entities to mirror. Let's mirror this, and we're going to also mirror the pin here. The mirror plane, that's going to be that little one we just created there. Look at that, it's going to show up on the other side. All right. And let's repeat that one more time, doing another mirror. Mirror this. Oh, we want the mirror plane. Let's do that. Entities. We'll do this pin and this pin. And look at that, they're going to show up over there. All right, you officially have a nice little box there that will not take any glue. Feel free to decorate this, put a lid on it, put whatever you want here. And you have done a great job. All right, so let me know if you have any questions. I'll see you in class. Remember to pause this video as you go because I know it's gotten very long. Bye-bye.